Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're counting down 10 of the very best Seiko watches you can own right now, a brand that has, for decades, been quietly proving that Japan can out-engineer, out-design, and out-value almost anyone in the watchmaking world. From dive legends born in the deep blue to dress watches that give Swiss giants a serious run for their money, Seiko's lineup is deeper, richer, and more exciting than most people realize. Whether you're new to the brand or a lifelong collector looking to add another gem to the collection, there is something on this list for you. Let's get into it. Number 10. Seiko Prospex 1965 Heritage Diver, SPB 451. We open our list with one of the most emotionally resonant watches Seiko has ever made, the Prospex 1965 Heritage Diver in the SPB 451. This is Seiko paying tribute to its own history, and it does so with extraordinary care. The original 1965 diver was Seiko's very first purpose-built dive watch, and the SPB 451 faithfully recreates that silhouette with a compact 38mm case, a domed crystal, and a matte dial with the kind of vintage warmth that modern watches so rarely nail. But don't let the retro aesthetic fool you. Inside beats the caliber 6R35 automatic movement, delivering a class-leading 70-hour power reserve with impressive accuracy. The applied indices, cathedral hands loaded with lume, and the signature pencil-shaped seconds hand all combine to create something that feels genuinely timeless. This is a watch for people who appreciate where watchmaking has been just as much as where it's going. The Seiko Prospex 1965 Heritage Diver SPB 451 retails for approximately $800 USD. Number 9. King Seiko KSK SJE 113. We step into a different world entirely. A world of refined finishing, quiet prestige, and one of the most beautiful dials ever produced under the Seiko name. The King Seiko KSK SJE 113 is a modern reissue of the legendary King Seiko series from the 1960s, a line that once competed directly with the finest Swiss dress watches of its era. And looking at the SJE 113, it's easy to see why. The Zaratsu polished case features razor-sharp transitions between polished and brushed surfaces, a level of case finishing that takes enormous skill and time to achieve, and that most Swiss brands reserve for watches costing far more. The elegant silver dial with applied markers and perfectly proportioned hands radiates old-world craftsmanship. Powering it is the caliber 6L35, a thin automatic movement with a 45-hour power reserve that sits beautifully low in the case. The King Seiko KSK is not just a watch, it is an argument that Japan has always belonged at the very top of horology. The King Seiko KSK SJE 113 retails for approximately $2,300 USD. Number 8. Seiko Presage Sharp-Edged SRPF 03 belongs to one of the most visually distinctive watches in the entire Seiko catalog, the Presage Sharp-Edged SRPF 03. Taking direct inspiration from traditional Japanese craftsmanship, specifically the geometric patterns of Kiriko-cut glass, the Sharp-Edged series features a faceted dial with angular planes that catch and scatter light in a way that photographs simply cannot do justice. The deep blue of the SRPF 03 shifts in tone depending on the light source, ranging from an almost midnight navy to a vivid electric blue. The applied indices and sword-shaped hands are polished to a mirror finish, and the Zaratsu polished case carries the same angular geometry as the dial into 3 dimensions. Powering it is the caliber 4R35 automatic with a 41-hour power reserve. This is a watch that rewards close attention. Every angle reveals something new. For anyone who loves the intersection of art and horology, the Sharp-Edged is unlike anything else at its price. The Seiko Presage Sharp-Edged SRPF 03 retails for approximately $400 USD. Number 7. Seiko Prospex Speedtimer Pogue SSC 813. We have a watch with one of the greatest backstories in Seiko's history, the Prospex Speedtimer SSC 813, known affectionately as the Pogue. The original story goes like this. NASA astronaut William Pogue wore a Seiko chronograph aboard Skylab in 1973, making it one of the very few watches ever worn in space during a NASA mission, a fact that was not part of Seiko's official marketing plan, which makes it all the more legendary. The SSC 813 is a modern tribute to that heritage, featuring a solar-powered chronograph movement with tachymeter bezel and a bold, racing-inspired dial that wears the story of space travel on its face. The solar caliber inside means you will never need to wind it or change a battery. Real-world convenience paired with genuine historical romance. The bracelet, lume application, and build quality are all exactly what you'd expect from a serious sports watch. For history lovers, space enthusiasts, and chronograph collectors alike, the Pogue is a deeply satisfying piece to own. The Seiko Prospex Speedtimer Pogue SSC813 retails for approximately $550 USD. Number 6. Seiko 5 Sports GMT. SSK05 is one of the most practical and underrated watches in Seiko's current lineup. The Seiko 5 Sports GMT SSK05. GMT watches, those with a fourth hand that tracks a second time zone simultaneously, are genuinely useful for travelers, remote workers, and anyone who regularly communicates across time zones. And for much of watchmaking history, a quality GMT came with a quality price tag. The SSK005 changes that conversation. Powered by the Caliber 4R34 automatic with a 40-hour power reserve, it offers a full GMT function with an independently adjustable 24-hour hand and a bidirectional bezel for reading a third time zone. The blue dial with bold Arabic numerals and a vivid red and blue Pepsi bezel is sporty, readable, and immediately likable. At this price, getting a legitimate mechanical GMT with Seiko's build quality and reliability is nothing short of remarkable. Whether you're crossing continents or just want the most useful complication in watchmaking at a price that won't hurt, the SSK005 is the answer. The Seiko 5 Sports GMT SSK05 retails for approximately $420 USD. Number 5. Seiko Alpinist SPB 121. Halfway through our list, and we arrive at perhaps the most iconic and beloved Seiko of them all, the Alpinist SPB 121. Originally developed in 1959 for Japanese mountain climbers, the Alpinist has cultivated a cult following so devoted that it borders on obsession, and once you hold one, you understand exactly why. The combination of the internal rotating compass bezel, the crown at 4 o'clock position, and the deeply saturated sunburst green dial create a personality unlike any other watch in production. It looks like nothing else. The Caliber 6R35 inside brings a 70-hour power reserve and excellent accuracy, while the domed sapphire crystal and 200 meters of water resistance confirm this as a genuine tool watch, not just an aesthetic exercise. The cathedral hands sweep through the dial with quiet authority, and the applied hour markers give the whole package a sense of quality that far exceeds the asking price. The Alpinist SPB 121 is a watch that people buy, fall in love with, and never sell. Enough said. The Seiko Alpinist SPB 121 retails for approximately $600 USD. Number 4. Seiko Prospex Turtle SRP 777. We pay respect to one of the longest-running and most warmly regarded members of the Seiko family, the Prospex Turtle SRP 777. The nickname comes from the watch's distinctive cushion-shaped case, a design that first appeared in the 1970s and has since become one of the most recognizable silhouettes in dive watch history. The SRP 777 wears that heritage proudly. The broad, rounded case, unidirectional bezel, and bold lume-filled dial are all true to the original spirit while feeling completely modern on the wrist. Water resistance is rated to 200 meters, and the Caliber 4R36 automatic inside with its hand-winding and hacking seconds makes daily life with this watch a pleasure. What really makes the Turtle special, though, is its wrist presence. The cushion case wears larger than its measurements suggest, with a commanding, purposeful feel that draws attention without asking for it. For anyone building a collection of meaningful tool watches, the Turtle is an essential piece of the puzzle. The Seiko Prospex Turtle SRP 777 retails for approximately $375 USD. Number 3. Seiko Presage Cocktail Time SRPB 43. The bronze medal on today's list goes to a watch that has introduced more people to the joy of mechanical watchmaking than almost anything else at its price. The Seiko Presage Cocktail Time SRPB 43. The concept is simple and brilliant. Take the shimmering layered colors of a classic cocktail and translate them into a dial. The result is the now iconic Starlight Sunburst dial, a deep blue-purple surface that catches the light and absolutely refuses to look the same twice. Dress watch conventions are all present and correct. Applied indices, Dauphine hands, a coin-edge case. But the dial gives the whole package an energy and life that sets it apart from staid Swiss competitors costing 3 or 4 times as much. The Caliber 4R35 automatic with 41-hour power reserve and hand winding does exactly what's needed. The Cocktail Time RPB43 has become a genuine collector's milestone, a watch so good at its job that it regularly turns new buyers into lifelong Seiko fans. If you've been on the fence about your first dress watch, Climb down on the right side. The Seiko Presage Cocktail Time SRPB 43 retails for approximately $340 USD. Number 2. Seiko 5 Sports SRPD 51. The runner-up on today's list is the watch that might represent the single greatest value proposition in all of automatic watchmaking, the Seiko 5 Sports SRPD 51. For a price that rivals what some people spend on a single dinner out, you get a Japanese-assembled automatic watch with a day-date display, a see-through caseback, a solid stainless steel case and bracelet, and the dependable caliber 4R36 movement with hand-winding and hacking seconds. The SRPD 51's blue dial and sporty aesthetic make it genuinely versatile. Dressed down with jeans or dressed up under a jacket, it holds its own anywhere. But what earns the Seiko 5 Sports this spot on the list isn't just the price, it's what this watch does to the person who wears it. It introduces the magic of a mechanical movement to people who never thought they could afford one. It proves that the sweeping seconds hand, the self-winding rotor, the feeling of wearing something truly alive on your wrist, none of that needs to be out of reach. The SRPD 51 is a gateway drug to this hobby, and it is a wonderful one. The Seiko 5 Sports SRPD 51 retails for approximately $220 USD. Number 1. Seiko Prospex Samurai SRPE 93. And the top spot on today's list belongs to a watch that earns its place through sheer, uncompromising character, the Seiko Prospex Samurai SRPE 93. Named for the sharply angular armor-like profile of its case, a design language that first appeared in 2005 and was met with an instant, devoted following, the Samurai is the watch you wear when you want something that makes absolutely no apologies for what it is. The angular lugs, the faceted bezel, and the aggressively geometric crown guards give the SRPE 93 a visual presence that is bold, architectural, and unmistakably Seiko. The deep black sunburst dial with its applied markers and lume-filled sword hands is stunning in person, shifting beautifully as the light changes. Underneath sits the workhorse caliber 4R35 automatic with 41-hour power reserve, hand-winding, and hacking, everything you need for comfortable daily wear. Water resistance is rated to 200 meters, and the solid bracelet with its alternating brushed and polished links completes a package that looks dramatically more expensive than it is. The Samurai SRPE 93 is the watch that makes you stop and stare, that earns compliments from watch people and non-watch people alike, and that reminds you why Seiko has been at this for over 140 years. It is the perfect crown for this collection. The Seiko Prospex Samurai SRPE 93 retails for approximately $350 USD.